Could Tevin Jenkins end up in Seattle? We have some major developments to get to here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Schultz with you. Thanks for joining us. Before we go any further in today's show, folks, it has been an awesome week here on the channel. One of the best weeks we've ever had. We have gained 930 new subscribers here on Seahawks Today, but I'm not slowing down there. I want to see, can we get to 1,000 new subs on the channel? We are reacting to all the latest free agent signings. We're talking draft, trades, and more. We've been live for 4 straight days this week. Stay tuned, stay alert with everything happening with your Seattle Seahawks. Let's make it 1,000. If you love the Hawks, this is the channel for you. You got to be subscribed. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Lock us in for free. Don't miss a moment. We got you covered. According to reports, free agent offensive guard Teven Jenkins has narrowed his list of potential destinations, and your Seattle Seahawks are considered one of the 3 finalists for Teven Jenkins as he looks to give the final rose and determine where he will take his talents in 2025. The list of top destinations for Jenkins at this time include the Cincinnati Bengals, getting to play alongside Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase could be pretty enticing. They have a very questionable defense there with the Bengals, so you'll wonder how good they could potentially be. The New York Giants are also a possibility. That's a team that is looking for a lot of help at the offensive line spot. They have a ton of holes on that team, and Teven Jenkins could come in and immediately make an impact with that squad. And then there's Seattle, who has had a very fascinating offseason so far to this point, bringing in a new quarterback in Sam Darnold, trying to plug up some holes on the offensive line. The defense trending in the right direction at the end of last year adds DeMarcus Lawrence, but you did move on the offensive side from DK and Tyler Lockett, and we'll see if Seattle can continue to take steps forward from here. But those are the teams. Where will he go? Well, here's the reality of the situation, folks. If the Seahawks cannot land Teven Jenkins or Mekhi Becton, those appear to be their top 2 guard targets at this point in time. Jenkins 1, Becton 2. If they cannot land those guys, then this free agency period for John Schneider and the Seahawks front office is an epic failure of just disgraceful proportions if they can't figure this out. What was the point of freeing up all that cap space if you weren't going to shore up your biggest problem in the offensive line? Moving on from guys like DK and Geno and Lockett and Draymond Jones, the biggest reason why that you kind of reset your salary situation was to take care of this offensive line situation, the biggest problem on this Seahawks team. So for me, I think it's vital. It is crucial for Seattle to do one of 2 things. Either sign Teven Jenkins or Mekhi Becton, one of the 2, to get a starting guard on this offensive line. If they cannot, if they do not land one of these 2, then there's going to be some soul searching, to say the least, of this situation right now. Should the Seahawks sign Teven Jenkins? Do you think they should get a deal done with the former Chicago Bear? Weigh in on our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. Get your votes in. Let us know why for yes, in for no, if they should sign Jenkins or not. Let's get to know Teven Jenkins a little bit further. He is a Topeka, Kansas native, a Midwest kid going from the Sunflower State to the Chicago Bears, and with a stop with the Oklahoma State Cowboys in between, playing for Mike Gundy, and a second-round pick there out of OSU, all Big 12 selection at Oklahoma State. I was a big fan of his when he was coming out of OSU. Goes to the Chicago Bears, had a rough start to his career in Chicago as he registered a PFF grade that rookie campaign in the 40s, and the Bears were talking about replacing him after his rookie season, but then things started to turn around for Teven Jenkins as he's gone on to start 38 games in 45 career games played, and he's turned into a really good offensive lineman. You look at the numbers from Pro Football Focus a season ago, and he was solid across the board in everything he did. Had an overall grade of 75.4, a pass block grade of 75.8, a run block grade of 74.3. That checks off every single box. He did allow 4 sacks and 4 penalties, but I think you can live with that with the good that you got on the other end of things. Here's more on the statistics from Teven Jenkins. He gave up just 1 hit, 12 hurries on the season to go along with that overall grade that we saw there. Now, let's talk financial terms. Obviously, that's the next step. If you're going to bring in a player like Teven Jenkins, if you're going to make more free agent signings, what does the money situation look like? Well, I have good news for Seahawk fans. The money is there to sign Teven Jenkins. There is no excuse to get outbid for Teven Jenkins here, folks. The usable cap space that Seattle has at the moment is about $20 to $25 million. And here's what we mean by usable. You have to save some money when it comes to the draft, as on average you spend about $10 million on your draft picks. So of what you can spend on free agents right now, the money is there for Teven Jenkins. And I'll take it a step further. Spotrac is projecting that Teven Jenkins is going to get about a 3-year, $31 million deal. All right? So you are looking at just roughly over $10 million a year to get a pretty decent guard that will be an immediate starter for your offensive line. That's a really good spot to be, that you can sign him. He can be an immediate starter and an impact player, and you can still have money left over, whether you want to go get another receiver or if you want to go get some help in the secondary. There's plenty of opportunity to make this work. I think if you're Seattle here is what your plan should be over the coming weeks ahead. Get a deal done with Jenkins. Sign him, bring him to Seattle, pay him the money it takes to get the job done. Go draft another guard, whether that's a Tyler Booker or whether that's a Kelvin Banks. And we've mentioned this with guys like Kelvin Banks and others, that we don't know if they're a guard or if they're a tackle at the next level. The thing I've been adamant about is you play the best 5 guys on your offensive line, whether that's having to move Lucas to guard or playing Banks at the guard spot, whatever it may be. You just get the best 5 out there and play positionless, kind of like in basketball terms. If you sign Jenkins, draft another guard, all of a sudden you're in actually a decent spot in this offensive line. Charles Cross is coming off a fantastic season at the left tackle position. You get a good guard in Jenkins that's ready to start right away. Olu looked pretty good in the second half of the 2024 campaign, and the Seahawks seem pretty confident about him going forward. You get a young cat like Booker or Kelvin Banks, and then Abraham Lucas, assuming he can stay healthy. He held his own in the second half of the season. Your offensive line, all of a sudden, what was a nightmare not too long ago, is drastically improved, and you're in a pretty decent spot. Is it the best offensive line in the league? Far from it. But you're closer to the top than you are the bottom if you can get that done. Who's a player the Seahawks should sign in free agency? Whether it's Teven Jenkins or somebody else out there, give me a name in the comments section of somebody you would like to see the Seahawks sign. Got a great deal we're offering right now. Seahawk hoodies are on sale for up to 50% off at chatsports.com/Seahawks hoodie to get yours today. Got men's and women's options for you, all sorts of different shapes and sizes. We got the ones you're seeing on your screen, as well as plenty of others. Go to our website, chatsports.com/Seahawks hoodie to get yours today. Other Seahawks merchandise available there for you. Sam Darnold jerseys coming very soon as well. Go check that out. Link is in the comments and description of today's video. That's chatsports.com/Seahawks hoodie. So here's what we are looking at. The updated free agency tracker for Seattle at this point. Josh Jobe was the first signing, bringing him back on a one-year, $2 million deal, and I like that. Josh Jobe was solid. I think you can still do better at the corner spot than Josh Jobe, but he can at least be a nice depth piece for you. Jarran Reed, 3 years, up to $25 million to remain in Seattle. The defensive line looking really good with Jarran Reed there, Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, and you got some dudes now. We'll talk about DeMarcus Lawrence here in just a moment. Leonard, on top of that, Ernest Jones IV, 3 years, $33 million. You have your green dot linebacker of the future just now entering his prime, and you got him at a pretty decent deal compared to the market. The linebacker spot, 3 years, $33 million, 15 guaranteed. Of course, the biggest signing, Sam Darnold, 3 years, $100.5 million, 55 guaranteed. I'm excited, ecstatic about Sam Darnold, of having him under center, still just 27 years old. And then your other signings you made. Josh Jones, he's going to be a backup swing tackle for you to sit behind Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross. And he hasn't played a ton as of late, but the measurables are decent for a backup swing tackle. And he's quite a bit younger than what you had in George Fant, who couldn't stay healthy last year. MVS, I'm not too excited about that free agent signing, in all honesty. The best thing you can say about MVS is that he gives you a threat to get some DPI calls, but you're going to need more help at the receiver position beyond just MVS. And then DeMarcus Lawrence, 3 years, $42 million. He's in his 30s. He's had some injury history. It is a risk, but I think they took a calculated risk here by only guaranteeing him $18 million. I think it's something worth trying, and Mike McDonald has a great track record when it comes to these pass rushers, historically speaking, dating back to his days in Baltimore. Today is a critical day for Seattle. It's day 4 free agency, and we're going to start to see some wheeling and dealing across the National Football League as the top talent is really going to start to dwindle. You have to be aggressive. Don't sit back and watch. John Schneider took day number 2 just doing nothing. I don't know what he was up to. He was sitting back at the golf course or something, and we heard rumblings that there was some offensive guards like Will Fries that they were interested in that they missed out on. Can't be sitting back. Got to be aggressive. Make some moves today. Make it happen. For continuing Seahawks offseason coverage, subscribe now to Seattle Seahawks Today. Any big moves, we're going to be all over it right here on the channel. We'll see you next time.